Hello?
Oh, now I see you. Now I hear you.
Hey there, Natalie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing super great.
Mind muting my stream on your end? Yeah, hearing the echo.
Um, oh yeah, let me turn you down.
No worries.
How's that?
Echo. Sounds great.
Perfect. What if I was on, oh, there I am.
There you are. Hey, let me add you to my stream.
Thanks for getting me on the stream. I know it requires you to be a little more alpha than most people, but
Yeah, we have
like.
very exclusive showings here. Yeah, hold on. Let me get Streamlabs set
I need
up
a top.
1 second. How's your day going?
It's going good. I doing, super busy things that I won't disclose.
Excellent, good.
I'm supposed to be debating you, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we can debate. You know what? Before we go ahead with the debate. Hey there, Natalie. Been a big fan of yours for a long time. I really appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you. You're very welcome. You've been a long time white knight of me, and I guess this goes to show that white knighting works.
Yeah, we're giving hope to all the incels out there. This is like a hope pill stream.
A hope pill stream. Well, someone has to do one.
Mm-hmm. We actually had a few talks with some incels earlier. It's been a pretty wacky day. I think I've talked to like 40 or 50 people so far.
Damn. I don't have the. How do you do it? You must be on the verge of insanity.
My girlfriend has been cooking me intermittent meals, and I have been building up a tolerance for a year and a half now.
I see. I must not have that tolerance. I'm done after 2 hours of playing Pokemon.
Your streams have been super fun.
Thank you. I have a vicious audience that constantly clocks me for playing Pokemon like a grandma or whatever.
Well, you are kind of a boomer, right?
Oh, fully.
Okay,
100%. Yeah. I sexually identify as a boomer.
If you own it, then it's fine. Nobody gets mad at you. It's endearing if you're living it.
Yeah, it's my truth. It's my journey. Thank you for supporting it.
Was there something you wanted to debate, or did I have to come up with the topic?
I don't know. Someone suggested Catgirls versus Dog Girls. I don't know.
All right, make your opening arguments.
Okay, so Catgirls. Okay, meow, meow. Happy gay sound, Zulu. I rest my case. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Ooh, all right. I don't. Are there like sexy bark noise? I don't think there are like cute. I don't think that. I don't think
You're doing great. You're doing so good.
Yeah, the reciprocate I don't think works quite as well. But I will say this. Listen, long have we been subject to the catgirl tyranny on every single anime forum board, Twitter, on just completely dominating the airwaves. Truly the hegemonic masters of our cultural zeitgeist. But the dog girl, the underdog in every conceivable sense, big,
the underdog girl,
fluffy ears, robust sexual energy. I would only assume. I think that fits naturally, and likes being scratched more. Enough with the tsundere, catgirl nonsense. Oh, they like you, no, they don't. The unadulated love of the dog girl is the way forward.
That's pretty convincing. But I don't know. I feel like you're just missing the sounds that I'm really gonna need to get on board with this.
Like the sounds don't work for me. That's why I'm avoiding them.
I know, because you're just not gonna be nya nya. You're just not going to.
Do dogs make noises other than bark? I don't have a dog. I don't even know.
Do dogs make noises? Okay. New debate. You're
I don't know. Wait, don't huskies go like? Like huskies have like some crazy.
I buy that.
But is that sexy?
No.
Yeah, I don't like you're going in.
Unless you're into that, which I personally
like. I don't.
Personally, I'm not super into that.
No, I can't say what either. A dog girl plus muzzle, perhaps that fits the theme a little bit if they're into it.
That's kind of kinky.
Yeah.
Muzzles.
Yeah. I mean, if they're into it, it's aesthetically appropriate, perhaps. You don't muzzle cats.
Okay, I'm following. No, you don't muzzle cats. Well, and if you do that, you have a real problem.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure some people do. Do
Oh,
people muzzle cats?
are we
Debate.
talking about real cats anymore? Or are we talking about Catgirls?
I've lost the thread. I don't know.
I think Catgirls are ball gags. Real cats don't get muzzled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably right. But catgirls do.
Natalie,
Uh,
you've won the debate. Congratulations.
Thank you. I consider myself a pretty expert debater, so I like to think that I would be expected to win.
It's the only one I've lost yet. Can I ask you something?
Go
In
crazy.
perhaps a slight pivot from our current, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I am curious.
Okay. I'll see if I can bring it back around.
Gotcha. Yeah, you pivot back. Yeah,
Mm.
I remember a video you made a while back where you said that much as you enjoy it, the political nonsense is exhausting, and if you could, you would much rather just do like gay makeup tutorials or something and such. Do you still hold by that?
Were those my words?
I think that was pretty close to your.
I would rather do gay makeup tutorials.
Well, you wouldn't
That's
do
what I
straight
said.
makeup tutorials, would you?
That's true.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh no, I hate politics. I can't. Every moment of this is agony to me. I don't know why I signed up for this. It's horrible. I hate ContraPoints. I hate this channel. I hate my life. Is I don't know. I've plunged myself into this unconceivable hell.
I am really sorry. Seriously though, the
Yeah.
expectation must be enormous at this point.
Yeah. It's well. I mean, take for example, like, because I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm not that great. Like, I'm a mediocre like I don't know, I came into this like everyone else has had a topic to debate. I came and was like, Catgirls. Like, that's what I've got going on. And yet look at the reception of this in the chat. It's just like, oh, hail the queen, she's doing incredible. Like how do you maintain a sense of proportion when your most like mediocre declaration is met with this enthusiastic excessive praise? You become jaded.
If that's mediocre to you, you should have seen some of the conversations that I had earlier. No,
Oh,
I'd
that's
say
true.
you're in the upper
Maybe I'm
quartile, let's say, of debate prowess, undoubtedly, for tonight.
upper quartile.
Yeah. And I've got some
That's good to
talented
know.
viewers, yeah, because they've been
Yeah.
watching me.
I did better than the incels.
The one incel was pretty. No, I'd say you did better. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
He didn't make any good points about the femoids.
We ended up agreeing on the femoids towards the end. We
You
came
agreed
to a
on the
femoid
femoids.
consensus, yeah.
A femoid consensus. What was that consensus?
That women do have it much easier getting laid. There are a fuck ton of other problems they got to contend with, and navigating that dichotomy can be difficult for men.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's true. That it's like not really a distinctive problem of female experience that sex is unavailable.
Yeah, well, obviously it's more complicated than that. You know, we're limited to 5 minute slots here. But the
Did you talk about Chads? Did you talk about anything else?
very briefly, they won't, the incels they don't listen to me like they used to. I fear.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Have you lost your influence among the incels?
I think they liked me more when I was just doing this with a $50 webcam from like a basement setup, you know. And now that I have like professional,
So you're a sellout.
Yeah, I'm a YouTube Chad now. It has nothing to do with sex.
Oh,
like
you're using a Chad webcam.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, the EOS
versus the incel potato.
The EOS 50. Yeah, 100%. It's a Chad webcam.
It's a Chad webcam. Yeah.
They listen to you.
They listen to me.
Yeah, your incels video is huge. Yeah.
It is huge. I don't know if that's huge because of incels or if it's huge because of people who are curious about incels. Because incels are kind of a meme, you know? I mean, I think like the video was popular with some incels liked it. It got kind of torn apart on the incel forums, which, you know.
They tear everything. They tear everything.
As you would expect.
I can make the most salient fucking comment in the world. Like, hey, I can say men struggle with dating, and somebody will clip that and post it to short cells on Reddit, and they'll call me like a fat degenerate who doesn't know what he's talking about because I had sex once in high school or something.
Oh, a fat degenerate who has sex. I guess that makes sense.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've argued with incels. Honestly, that's been kind of off my radar. Except that their vocabulary is like permanently embedded in my brain.
Do you have any interest in getting into live debate by chance?
Well, I tried that like 3 years ago.
I saw.
And I don't know. I wasn't amazing at it. Like I probably could have gotten good at it, but like every time, like the problem is that like the company, well, so there's a website called Twitter.com, and there's a
True.
little problem with that website, which is that
True.
every time I talk to someone who disagreed, like I would get, my little baby, like 40,000 subscribers YouTube channel. People would be like, "You're platforming someone you disagree with. Therefore, you are enabling fascism. Therefore, you are a fascist sympathizer." And so that was the end of my debate career.
Do you think the left is getting any healthier online over the past couple of years, or do you think it's just as bad as it used
Oh,
to be?
oh, it's absolutely as bad as it used to be.
No, no fault. You're just
And
gonna lay that out there.
don't you think? I don't know. I mean, I haven't. I mean, the worst I've ever had it was last October. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. I think, I mean,
Yeah.
you and I think, have very different experiences with the worst elements of the left. So
Okay. Yeah, that's possible.
I think you probably get the worst of it. I mean, I know, I think it's undeniable that you get the worst of it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I it's a very particular quarter that really goes after me, and it's yeah. I mean, it's kind of made me not able to really function online for the last like 7 or 8 months. I guess I've kind of just given up social media. I'm very, very cautiously starting to come back. I tweeted twice today. Every time I tweet, I look at that tweet button. It's like I'm holding a gun to my head. Like it could ruin lives if I press that button at the wrong time.
I was actually really surprised to see you tweet earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, for aforementioned reasons. Do you think you should be more? I'm not trying to tell you what to do or anything. Do you think that, like, you could be more active and not, it's not like lol just block people. What's it? Do you think you could, like, care less about their opinions of you? Do you think you care too much, or do you think
Hmm.
it's just a sheer volume thing?
I think for a long time I cared too much. I've kind of gotten to a point where I don't care. Like, when there was like Twitter backlash against parts of the cringe video, I didn't care at all
Okay.
because I've just kind of accepted this as like a law of nature that like every time I post something, like a certain section of trans Twitter will like you know declare me the Antichrist. But I um so I've accepted that. But I guess especially when it comes to Twitter in particular, like I literally am triggered by this website because it's caused me so much pain. Like and people think this is an exaggeration because it's like, well, why can't you just handle criticism? Why can't you just well, it's not criticism that's the problem. It's like everyone you've ever associated with getting death threats and being strongly coerced into publicly disowning you. Like it's a very difficult experience to go through. And when you realize that, like, not just having the wrong opinion but wording the right opinion the wrong way could trigger an event like that, it's like hard to say anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's yeah.
Well, no, I mean, you're right, and I'm going to agree with you because
Hmm.
I think,
I've watched your
crusaded
whitening.
against this. And I have to say, and this isn't some, like, lame attempt at a pullback, but I mean, I think, I don't know if you would phrase it as disgust, but I do feel a certain degree of disgust towards that element of the online left. Not not necessarily for their relationship with you, but it's woefully unpragmatic to take such pleasure in attempting to performatively deride the people most effective at converting people. If you started sucking, I would
Yeah.
absolutely stop simping for you. Don't worry. But it's the
Yeah. Yeah.
concept of taking down the big ones. It's horrible. I would hope that eventually these groups would calm down, but neither of us really run in their circles, and I don't think they're capable of being convinced. So
Well, I liked the way that you've framed it in some of your videos about this, like the idea of like the strategy of the left has to be building a coalition, and a coalition. I mean, like think about like what has to happen for the left to form a coalition. It means you have to have like the LGBT people, you have to have the Black Lives Matter people, you have to have the union people, you have to have feminists, you have like a lot of different groups. And if like so not only like if we can't even get along on a fundamental level, like if you can't even tolerate each other within the T of LGBT, like we're so doomed because if we can't even form a T coalition, then we definitely can't form an LGBT coalition, and we definitely can't form a left coalition. So yeah, it's just devastating. And I think, but I think ultimately the issue is that, for a lot of trans people on Twitter, the goal is not, they're not thinking about strategy, because the goal is not to win. The goal is to create a space where they feel comfortable all the time. And that's fair, right? Okay, like it's fair to want a space like that. But the thing is, like, when you try to turn the major public forum for leftist discourse into a space where I personally am always comfortable, then you stop doing politics.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Politics is the art of building power and then using it. And nothing
Right.
shorts that process more than placing power building second to immediate comfort. I think safe spaces are a
Yes.
wonderful thing. I mean, I like the
Yes.
idea. And there were safe spaces at my university, for example. Like they had physical safe spaces where if you were like Latin or something and you were tired of white people or bullshit, you could like there's like a nice
Yes.
room in the back, and you can do your homework. It was great, fantastic, wonderful. But Twitter has, I don't know how many people are on Twitter. Let's just say trillions of people on it. It's a battleground. It's not a little, you can't, build a little cozy. And I don't want to be the person with the cleanest soul being led off to the death camp, I don't want to be lined up in front of the mass grave and like turn to the people next to me and go like, guess who will be answering for their problematic language after the end?
Yes.
Like no.
Yes. It's
Step one.
it's infuriating.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we completely agree about this. Because I don't know, like you say, like it's not like a safe spaces. These snowflakes, no, like literally everyone needs a safe space. And I fully understand that for queer people and for like especially maybe for non-binary people, where like the vast majority of people are not going to like understand your identity intuitively. Like you absolutely need to have form spaces like that. Like that's what, like, I don't know, private Discord servers are for. But like you cannot act like, I don't know, because especially when it's when the objection is not even necessarily that you did or said something wrong, but it's like in my case where it's like, oh, you talked to a bad person. Like you cannot insist that every ally refuses. What is going on with the chat?
The chat might be the YouTube has been a little bit fucky lately with
Oh yeah, I've been having that problem too.
Yeah.
Well, you cannot insist that all allies and all activists refuse to talk to anyone who doesn't agree with them. That's madness. Like that's basically shutting down any actual activism project that you could possibly hope to have, apart from one sort of within your own little space.
Yeah, I think, and the weirdest, because the thing to me is, and I recognize, like, you're right, everyone does need a safe space. My community is a safe space to me. I deal with, not exactly the same as you. I deal with quite a bit of agitation online, from the far right, from the left, whatever, and I enjoy that. But one of the things that I've tried to build in my community is a kind of collective recognition that as important as challenging these people is knowing there's a place where you can back up to and relax. But I try to avoid doing so at the expense of others. You know that old phrase like your right to throw your fist ends at the space in front of my face or something like that? Like for you, because I think this was one of the things you were canceled. You'll have to forgive me. You have like 18 incidents, so I need to.
It's at least that many.
Right, yeah. So I have to. But I think it was like you were saying that I don't know if you said performative, but the performative expectation of everyone going around in a ring saying their gender pronouns is something which manifests in large part from woke people being in the presence of those they know are trans, whereas the assumption of your gender identity is more common in less progressive spaces because they don't even think to do like the gender runabout. Which is, I think, I mean, I'm cis, so I don't fucking know, but that seems like a perfectly, if nothing else, like valid perspective. But if that's an experience you're having, and that's a frustration you're having, directly related to your concerns of other people validating your gender identity, the idea of shutting you down for expressing that is literally destroying the potential for you to create a safe space around that particular subject, to form camaraderie, to have people understand, share their experiences, to feel like loved or accepted or acknowledged in that respect. To destroy that in the preservation of some other perceived safe spaces, I mean, you're doing the thing. Like, you're doing the thing. You're breaking up the comfort zone for other trans people, you know?
Yeah, I think the issue with that particular occasion was that like I was talking about like feelings that I had about being in certain spaces that sort of build themselves as like progressive, like trans like safe spaces where like I got the like where sort of all normal like social rules were sort of discarded in favor of these artificially imposed rules that said, for instance, oh, you can't call anyone you guys. Like the phrase you guys is banned because it's gendered. And so people are upset by gendered language.
Mm-hmm.
And like you have to, like you're supposed to, like everyone knows. I don't know, I've had this occur to me. Like I've had this happen to me. Like I think it's happened to me like at VidCon where like, I don't know, so, like some like cis person walked up to me and say like they say oh like ContraPoints like oh what are your pronouns and they know my pronouns are she her but
it's the act. It's performative.
Someone told them what you're supposed to do with a trans person is ask their pronouns, so they're acting in a way that they believe is the right way to act, right? They're thinking oh this is the polite thing to do is ask what her pronouns are, but like that's it's like sort of incongruous to me because I can go to a sports bar in North Carolina and no one's asking me my fucking pronouns, and I prefer it that way. So like I don't know, it's just it's a feeling I have. Now I think that the legitimate objection to my tweet is that me talking about that feeling without adequately, sort of contextualizing it as not, which is not to say that it's not it's not sometimes good to have this norm of asking pronouns, right? Like I think people could use that expression of a feeling to say oh we should never ask people what their pronouns are.
Yeah, and
which is not what I was saying.
I mean, and black people have complained about this too. Black people have complained about like the woke libs saying stuff like person of color or African American gentleman. Like they've bandied about that before. We all know the meme about calling black people articulate. There are a ton of ways in which overcompensation from well-meaning people ends up being sometimes well-meaning ends up being significantly more obnoxious than just the default like blasé like a completely neutral approach. I guess I feel like this should be fairly well, I think this would be uncontroversial to most functional adults, but if I may be crass, I think a lot of the people who shit talk you on Twitter are literally just like 16-year-olds. So I don't know.
I think there's an element of that. I mean, like the vast majority of the really abusive stuff comes from anonymous accounts that are, anime avatars, like furry avatars. Like, I don't know how old they are, but I suspect pretty young.
Yeah.
So, sometimes sometimes I do try to remind myself, like, look, you're getting upset because a teenager's yelling at you online. And I, trying to take that too seriously. But you sort of have no choice to take it seriously when like basically everyone is being pressured to disavow and basically there's a kind of social media pressure where no one can associate with you. You've become so toxic that anyone who talks to you gets this kickback for platforming a transphobe, which like when you have a significant number of trans people online who will go after any cis person who talks to me because they platformed a transphobe by talking to me, like that actually does have a serious effect on me. And they know that, and that's what they want, right?
Yeah,
they want to hurt me.
Yeah, I mean, there are a surprising number of these people. It's not they're not. I mean, they're not massive or anything, but they're a loud minority. I think. I mean, the goal would be to outgrow these people. I think, like that should be. I think one of the biggest issues isn't just the existence of these people; it's the well-meaning people who would otherwise be on your side who say like, "Whoa, hold on, I don't want to invalidate any concerns. Let's give it a listen." I get this shit a lot. There are a lot of people online there are a couple of prominent people on Twitter and they know who they are. And they're fucking lunatics. And they're like one of those like here's an 87 like clip assembly of out of context clips that proves Vaush is a racist, transphobe, like the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And they're all horribly
Your list of
misrepresented.
crimes.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
We all have a list of crimes,
Yeah,
right?
we do. Some
Yeah.
longer than others. And the issue is these people are crazy. I don't care. I don't care what they do. But the issue is people, well-meaning people, will see that stuff on their timelines, and then they'll go, "Oh my goodness, I didn't." And then they'll show up in my site chat, in my YouTube comments. They'll DM me. They'll email me by the hundreds, by the thousands. Eventually, over the course of weeks, months, repeating the exact same shit, except innocent and unaware of the malicious intent behind it, and that signal boosts it, and it's impossible to stop them because from your regular like normie progressive point of view, the concerns they heard are the valid and reasonable, you know, issues taken by like another progressive looking to meaningfully correct my behavior or whatever. That's the issue. We all need to ignore them. It's not just like you. Everyone needs to learn, like, this is a no-go zone of Twitter. Bad.
And it's
bad.
And it's not just like woke Twitter or woke Tumblr that does this. Like, I mean, this is an old thing that you know, this is kind of a Gamergate thing or a 4chan thing. Like, you know, you basically the idea is that so suppose you accuse someone of being a pedophile, like frivolously. If you message enough people and you get enough people messaging around, like, oh, like, what do you think about the pedophilia accusations against YouTuber X? Like, you say that, you know, I've seen, like, you know, this happened on 8chan, or it'll start with 8chan, for example. And there's actually, you know, I actually know someone who has had like just totally spurious like pedophilia allegations follow him around for years because of exactly this. Like you say, like, oh, like there's pedophilia allegations, and like as you say, the problem is not necessarily that people are outright lying that you're accused of pedophilia. It's that their, you know, allegations of there being allegations gets enough you know, views, essentially gets enough visibility that now concerned and well-meaning people start digging into it. But it takes, you know, it's easier to see, oh, I heard about there's these allegations, which is what most people say. Most people don't look into it, right? And so you really can just, you know, it's actually extremely effective.
Yeah, well, it contributes to the discourse. It adds to the general discourse, and you can't tell of the people who are repeating these claims how many of them are malicious dipshits and how many of them are people who are just honestly signal boosting. You know, I think
exactly.
Reasonably the only thing we can do is just ban anime and furry avatars on Twitter. That's probably the closest thing we can get to institutional change.
I think it is a problem. Like, you know, it is a problem with anonymous accounts on the internet. Like, I think, like, okay, like there's, you know, maybe some justification for having spaces that are anonymous. You know, I think like on Twitter, for example, like if you do any criticism of the anime avatars, like you'll have a bunch of people telling you, well, trans people need these avatars because they're not ready to come out, or they'll be harassed if they show their real face. And it's like, well, okay, that's true, but also that may be true for some people. But I mean, like, I show my face and I'm harassed for my face, but I just deal with it. But also, like, you know, it still doesn't make you invulnerable to the problems that come along with anonymous activity online. Just because you have woke reasons for being anonymous, it still affords you the kind of protection of anonymous and the total freedom from accountability of anonymous, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. 100%. I don't know. I mean, again, I think the only solution that we can really get is better media literacy on the part of leftists. I think the right doesn't need this as much because the right is like the online conservative sphere is like what was the name? Killmonger Joe. What was his name from Immortan Joe? That fucking guy. It's a fucking bloodbath. These people fucking are horrible to each other all the time. They'll take each other out. They'll do horrible hit piece. They'll dox each other. And they're orcs. There's this constant bloodbath, and they just hurt everyone in their periphery. But we trying to be a little bit better, you know. And because we try to be better, the infighting in our communities, I think, reverberates much farther, harder, and does more damage, at least proportional to, you know, the state we try to keep our communities in. If we have better media literacy, maybe we could get lefties to be a little bit more reasonable about not signal boosting bad ideas, recognizing when performative sensitivity is being used as a mask to obfuscate like genuine harassment against larger figures, that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's like, I mean, it's like a kind of it's like a kind of metaphorical autoimmune disease of leftist spaces, right? You can use these mechanisms that we develop to keep, like, like genuinely abusive people out of our spaces. Like, you can use those mechanisms to destroy basically anyone within those spaces. Um, and I don't know of anyone who has a real solution to that.
Can I pivot briefly and ask you a slightly
Hmm,
different question?
sure.
Pivoting on my end means you won the argument, by the way.
Okay, great. I'm super happy that I won this debate.
um, did you enjoy making the cringe video? I know politics is a bit of a tough one, but I feel like that video was on the
Hmm.
interstice of like politics and like like social like
Yeah.
internet history keeping. You know?
Well, I'm obviously being a little bit facetious when I say I hate politics because obviously I sort of like it. There's a reason why I started talking about it in the first place. Yeah, I would say that I'm at my best. I think, like, when I'm talking about sort of internet culture and how the political implications of that. Like, more so, like, I'm simply not an expert on, like, you know I don't I don't make videos about elections really, or about, like, oh, like, I don't do current events. I don't do the latest crazy thing Joe Biden said. Like, I don't do any, I don't do that. But what I do think I think the thing I'm best at is videos like the incels video, or videos like cringe, where I take this kind of specifically online uh, phenomenon, and I kind of dive deeper than any sane person would. Um, and yeah, I did have fun with cringe, especially because with cringe, um, I mean, it's actually something so personal to me because this has kind of like ruled my life for a long time.
Mhm.
I think, like, as a trans person online, cringe is kind of like it's a sword hanging over your head. Like, you constantly are aware that you're
The
you're
nanosecond you step out of
yeah,
line. Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
nanosecond away from being the next deer getting head scritches, and you really have to watch it.
Oh, topical. That one.
Yeah,
It's
I brought
that
it
one
back. I
came
brought it
out
back.
after the cringe video. That would have been an excellent
I
inclusion.
know.
Yeah.
The week of.
It was the week of.
Yeah, it came out like literally within a week of the
Oh
cringe video.
shit! Damn. Well,
Was Deergate.
prescient.
Yeah, no, it was well, I don't know if there's any good timing for that, but it was yeah, appropriate.
Yeah. I'm not trying to fucking butter your biscuit here or anything. That
Mm.
video, the cringe video, it's been too long since I saw the incel one. The cringe video and the cancel culture video. I love the cancel culture video because it was eminently like relevant to my business as well. So it's that's I'm biased. But
Of course, yeah.
the cringe video felt like a fucking dissertation. That was so good. The
Thank
it
you.
actually got me to evaluate some stuff because I think because it's true, like the cringe culture, like as a concept, is irresistible and horribly destructive to our psyches, I think.
Yeah.
But you actually got me. I know you would criticize me on this in the past. It actually got me to move over a little bit on Blair White. Um, because I know at some point you would in the video you talked about the Jessica Yaniv business, and um, I think it's really important to understand why people do the stupid shit they do because it
Yeah,
makes
totally.
it makes it much easier to critique them or win an argument against them, whatever you're doing. And with Blair, I guess I had always just assumed she was like an insecure like grifter, which
Mm.
I'm not saying she's not, but you talking about the way in which like performatively distancing yourself from the cringiest elements of the community that you like claim to so you can be like the good one, talking about that, opening that up, I thought it was really interesting. I think I might like reevaluate the way I approach her content or Calvin's content in the future, or like all the like black people who hate black people on YouTube, just anyone who fits in that kind of turncoat slot, you know?
Oh, I think, the thing about Blair is, like, she just made a video, like, YouTubers who hate me. ContraPoints exposed. I haven't watched it yet, but no, I don't hate Blair. In fact, I find Blair very easy to. I mean, Blair actually. I really kind of empathize with Calvin. I find him something very touching about Calvin to me. But, like, I find Blair. It's very very easy for me to see Well, okay, so I should say, like, I don't know. I've been watching Blair's videos for a very long time. Like, since I think since she had like 4 videos on her channel, I've been watching. And this was before I transitioned, when, I was very, very interested in watching trans people's content. Uh, and at first I did not get why she did the things that she did. Like, I just felt attacked by it, I felt attacked by it. And I used to like, God, I used to just, before I transitioned, I used to just rage at her on Twitter. Like, I cringe at this now, but I used to be one of the like fully like a full egg, just man raging at Blair White on Twitter.com. And like
Are you
now it's
implying
like
I'm going to be trans next? Is that?
I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, I've seen stranger trans events, but like I no, I don't think you're trans, but prove me wrong. I Uh, no, like now Blair, I just find it very easy to understand why she does what she does. Like, it makes total sense to me. In fact, I constantly find myself faced with the temptation to do exactly what she does, because it's the easier thing, it's the safer thing, it's the rationally self-interested thing to do as a trans person online. Like, it's not a mystery why she does this. Like, it's, again, like I said, the rational self-interest. Like, it's the correct thing to do if all you care about is getting your gender to be accepted by as many cis people as possible. If what you want to do is be treated like a human being, and you're a trans person online,
And you go
and
on
you can pull
YouTube
it
and you
off.
shit talk other
Yeah.
trans as hard as you
I
possibly
mean,
can.
it's the most effective way to get cis people's respect. And like, this is something I've found that in my own transition, as I've got, I started out as a freak, and like, I mean, I'm still a freak, but I have found that over time, like, as I am more, you know, passable to cis people's eyes, I increasingly find myself in social situations with cis people where they're telling me they're willing to start shit talking trans people to me, and
Hey,
they didn't used to do
you're
that.
winning.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
far enough over on the
yeah. This
scale.
is how, they'll say, of course, not you. Like, you're just a woman to me. Like, it's like a trans woman who looks like you. You're not the problem. And like, and you have to decide what to do with this. Like, do you take a stand for your sisters and brothers and siblings, and say, like, no, like, like you shouldn't talk about trans people that way? Or do you do the much easier thing and say, yeah, thanks, yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
you
stand it,
revel. Yeah, exactly.
I
Like,
can't stand these crazy Huns either, like,
no.
because that's the easier thing to do.
Yeah, of course. I
It's
have
a
to do the
much
same
easier
thing
thing
with
to do.
my
Yeah.
whiteness all the time in the Antifa squads. Like I get to be one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When they're shit talking white people, I can either stand up for my my pasty comrades, or I can accept the adulation as one of the good ones. It's a tough
Yeah.
dichotomy.
It's, yeah, and it's, so I don't know. It's
So gosh, yeah, no, seriously though, I get it. I mean, for you, like, when I see the hyper mask, who was, God, fuck, you had him in the cringe video. He was done by H Bomber guy. He was the guy, whiskey, didn't actually drink, cigar, didn't actually
Davis
smoke.
Arini.
Davis Arini. Like, when I see
Yeah.
someone like Davis Arini, this is like, it's like an instant, like I can instantly nail every insecurity on this person's face. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world. And for you, that's
fully legible.
for you, that's Blair White, just an open book.
Yeah.
Like, every
Yeah.
That's
100%.
that's pretty fucking wild, honestly.
I mean, I think, like, I think, like, I don't pretend to know the full story. Like, I'm not like a genius, like, psychoanalyst. It's not about that. It's about, like, I fully grasp why a trans person would do this. Whereas I think to a lot of people, to a lot of cis people, they're like, why is this? Why is this? Like, I don't know. I find that a lot of cis people's commentary on Blair White, it's like, lol, look at this, like, self-loathing idiot. Like, why is she acting against her own interest? And it's like, well, it's more complicated than that.
She's acting in her interest.
Yeah, she is acting in her interest. She's acting against trans people's collective interest, but she's absolutely acting in her personal interest. Yeah.
I can't imagine that's a pretty good, like, long-term survival strategy, though. When you MAGA hat your way into Trump getting like 8 terms in a row, and then they ban trans people from existing.
Right.
The acceptance you get by being the good one will only carry you so far.
Well, the wager you make, I guess, as a MAGA trans person is you're betting that, you're better off as one of the good trans among the conservatives than you are betting on the social, like widespread social acceptance of trans people in general.
which has been a
And
losing bet throughout history.
yeah,
So
yeah. So it's no, I don't think it's a very noble or honorable thing to do, but I understand it, and I do am able to see it as rational from a certain point of view.
yeah, well, that's the perspective I appreciated because before all
Mm.
I had was the like insecure grifter thing, which is a
Yeah, yeah,
much
yeah.
more shallow like estimation of a person's behavior. It's not as predictive. Do you have any?
Yeah.
Do you have any? I've seen a lot of people have criticized you for. I'm not again. If you don't want to dig into this, totally fine. Some people have criticized you for the in the cringe video the GameStop
Mm.
scene when you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
talking about the way you reacted to that scene. Do you was there anything about that you would change, or do you think your behavior was defensible and that people are interpreting like a prescriptive like acceptance from you acknowledging you had like a bad reaction?
Yeah, so I think I may have gone too far in a few places. I think that I probably did not the size 16 shoes comment was too was that was over the line. Uh, I withdraw.
I'm not laughing. I'm not. Yeah.
I withdraw that joke. But I mean, honestly, the reason that happened is just like that was not in the original script. It was improvised, and because it was in the original script was I would have to put myself in her shoes, and then like the opportunity came up in my mind. It just made me
Yeah,
laugh when I
you
was
were laughing.
editing.
Well, it is fun. I mean,
Yeah,
it is. I can't say
yeah,
objectively. It is funny, but yeah.
yeah. But it's bad. It's bad. I don't know. It's not good. But I do think that like I don't know. I sort of I actually sent a message to Tiffany, which is the name of that trans woman, saying because she was upset by the video. So and she her what she said she was upset by was that she wasn't given the chance to to defend herself. And I said, well, come on my stream and we can and you can tell your side of the story. But she hasn't gotten back to me. So I have offered her a chance to do that if she wants to. But I mean, why did I decide to I mean, I think I'm justified in talking about my own emotional reactions to that kind of thing. I got there is like I think maybe a legitimate objection to like, well, yeah, but you talked about a particular person, which is like, that's exactly the kind of specific public humiliation that you're supposed to be against. And like, yeah, that's true. I think the reason why I sort of felt a clear conscience about doing with her was that she had like sort of later said like that she had no regrets about how she acted and didn't find it embarrassing at all. And that kind of made me think, okay, well, if that's how you feel, then I feel more comfortable sort of criticizing this because I think it would be a different story if her view on the GameStop video was what I think the most charitable viewers of that clip initially assumed, which was this is someone having a terrible day. This is not usually what she's like. Like, why publicize? Why continue publicizing someone's worst moment? But honestly, the sense that I get from this person is that she's this is kind of what she's like.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
I don't know.
and maybe I guess maybe this isn't fair. It's not fair,
Mm.
but I think there is virtue in acknowledging the way in which your behavior might be perceived as embarrassing, even if that embarrassment is only a product of a double standard.
Yeah,
So even if like for example, like a trans person is held to a much higher standard when it comes to public behavior than cisgender people are. But even if they deviate from that expectation, even if they fuck up in some way, I
mm,
do think there's value, or I guess maybe in the self awareness necessary to go like, even if it's a bullshit double standard, yeah, okay, because we all deal with that in our day to day. The different expectations placed on us for every aspect of our, even like the difference between like a mask or a more like neutral looking like cis guy, can lead to
yeah,
myriad different ways in which we're expected to behave in various social situations. And even though all those expectations are bullshit, having the self awareness to know what you're expected to do and how you deviated from that, I think I mean, it's I don't know, valuable? I've seen a lot of people online. The worst part isn't when people are embarrassing, it's when they don't know they're embarrassing. I mean, you
yes,
talked about
yes,
that.
yeah.
That hurts the
I mean
most.
that to me is like what makes cringe, and it's and I think and I find that for me it comes to a kind of terror I have about myself. Like if these other people can be this embarrassing without realizing it, like what am I doing? Like what am I doing that's embarrassing? Like it becomes this fear of delusion. And again, this is all part of the like, trauma of being a trans person. And like, the you always have to, like, I don't know. I'm someone who's like definitely had to struggle with the like thoughts that like, am I a crazy person? Am I delusional? Like every day, right? Like it's a question that I ask myself and try. So it's become almost a sort of probably excessive preoccupation I have with trying to get an accurate perception of how people are perceiving me, or trying to accurately assess how people are perceiving me, just to make sure that I'm not being that kind of delusional trans. And I guess that's kind of actually kind of a brutal thing to subject yourself to, because people
Yeah, no,
are
I'd say
perceiving
so,
you in a
maybe. Possibly.
yeah,
Do
because
you
people absolutely. I mean, if you're a trans woman and you have a big audience on YouTube, like there are apps there are like there are tens or hundreds of thousands of people who think that you're a delusional man in a dress. Like, and if you put a lot of stock in that, you can start to go a little crazy, and you can start to start agreeing with them a little bit. And that's definitely something I've had to struggle with.
do you think you would have, I'm not trying to presume anything. Do you think that you would have an easier time sort of managing your self-perception if you didn't have the yes queen dark mother venerated fan cult online, like if people treated you a little more normally?
Well, I mean, I think that probably doesn't help, but I don't think that specifically hurts that much. I do
Okay.
think it's just kind of like it's one side of the general problem, which is that online, this is kind of true. I mean, it's not just a trans thing. This is true of like anyone who has an online presence. You tend to either be like sort of adulated with excessive praise, or you're sort of caricatured and despised to a disproportionate. You know what I mean? Like it's either that you are like the queen mother goddess, like come to save humanity from its sins, or you are like a disgusting pervert who should be removed from society. And it's when you when you have these two extremes expressed so loudly, like it's hard to know what to listen to, because so much of you're getting every imaginable type of feedback, right? There's people saying that you're like you're the reincarnation of Gandhi, or you're the reincarnation of Hitler. There's people saying you're literally the most beautiful woman they've ever seen, and there are people saying you're an obviously ugly, delusional, crazy man. And it's like, and everything in between, right?
Very
So
difficult to get this the looking glass self to understand what the fuck you're actually supposed
and
to
it's true with
be.
the canceling thing too. It's like, listen to criticism. Just listen to people. It's like, okay, well, which people? Like, it's not always the easiest to find out who's speaking in good faith and
Criticism on its
who's
own is fucking worth. Like,
yeah,
wait, let me. If I listen to all the criticism I get, I'll take that to heart. Tomorrow I would be a neo-Nazi. Most of the
right,
criticism I get is from people telling me that I'm
right.
betraying the white race by the Jewish. Yeah. So obviously we have to pick who we're listening to here. Um,
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that at some point, like, the reason does need to enter the equation. Like, I'm sorry to go full neoliberal, or sorry to go full like Dave Rubin or whatever, but like,
Get it up.
but like, you know, like you can't just listen and believe, because you also have to have some like method of adjudicating between speakers, right? Like, how do
Oh
you
yeah.
decide who to listen to?
I had this conversation recently. I don't want to get too into it, but
Hmm.
I'm sure you know, like there are a fair number of lefties who are mad at me fairly perpetually.
Yeah, of course.
The rumors say, as is known, one of them came on and talked to me, and they were making the argument that I should like reflexively apologize and listen to people who said they've been
Hmm.
hurt by me, but argued against those people having to make an argument for why they were hurt by me. So just like,
Yeah.
if they're hurt, like that's the end of the convo. Like I just have to take that at face, like no arguments made. But it's unreasonable of me, or it's prejudiced of me, I think, for me to expect them to have to give an argument for that. Which to me
Oh,
sounds like the easiest excuse for abusive behavior imaginable, not having to actually justify your
why are you
criticisms
hurting me? Stop hurting me. Why are you
just forever. And there's nothing you can do.
yeah.
That's the whole
Yeah, there's nothing you
conversation.
get. Yeah, and like there's people, like, just because someone is hurt by something that you've done does not mean that you're culpable for that. Like sometimes it does, sure, but like I guess I think it was in my canceling video. Like I use this example of like it actually like a really upsetting thing that happened to me when I was doing a stream like years ago with like a kink activist, and we were talking about like DDLG, and someone in the chat started having a panic attack and like typing in all caps like, why are you like, DDLG was like used by my abuser, was used by my rapist, like, why are you apologizing, why are you defending my abuser? And like they were just, and it's like I was like super upset by this because this person thought that I like genuinely was in an emotional state where they believed I was taking the side of someone who had sexually abused them. But I wasn't. They
And
were
that's
just
not
triggered
on
by this
you.
conversation. Yeah.
You're a public like you
Right.
can't, like, if we did that to everyone who said that, like, we can't do that.
And the bigger your audience is, the higher likelihood that some people will be, in fact, seriously hurt by things that you're not necessarily culpable for causing, when you're not necessarily responsible for causing their hurt.
I think it's actually really sad because that's the behavior of someone who was never taught or never learned how to manage a trauma response. They don't know how to, so they project the need for that to be managed onto the people they're listening to. And for somebody to put a burden like that on a parasocial figure is like, I like wonder like what's going on in their head. Like if they think that's a betrayal from you, like that's like, it would hurt to be in their position, Like I do feel sympathy, even if it's a bad mentality.
And that's why this situation was upsetting to me, is that it was clear that this person's pain was like very real, but like, what am I supposed to do about it? I think the parasocial stuff also contributes to some of the intensity of this stuff. Like when someone when someone's like, you betrayed me because you talked to this other YouTuber who I hate. It's like I thought we were friends almost, and then now here you are palling around with my enemy, and there is an element of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Do you really quick? Not that I'm. Do you mind if my partner comes in to say hi and they love you?
Yeah.
All right, you have the Code Falcon. You have to go. Get in here. Echo. Sorry. They also like your work. We watch your videos together. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this stuff is only going to get worse with time. People are only getting lonelier, and stuff like live streaming and other forms of like immediate media figure contact is only getting more popular.
Yeah, it becomes it's true. It's becoming, I mean, and especially with like the core. I mean, everyone's basically gonna be completely lost their minds in the next few months, I think. But like the quarantine thing makes it worse. I can tell. Like I rely so heavily. Yeah, shout.
She
I
wants
rely
to
so
say
heavily
hi.
on
Hello.
the internet.
Really quick.
Hi.
Here, go ahead.
Oh.
Go crazy. What, you want to not hear her? Hello.
No, I do.
Oh.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I just honestly, I feel like I'm just coming on because at least we had probably kind of expected to meet you at VidCon without the fucking corona stuff.
Oh yeah, right, that was canceled.
Yes, I think.
Yeah,
I
I know. There's like a lot of like connections that I'm not gonna be able to make because of that.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to go to Anime Expo. Fucking sucks.
I'm not going outside.
Yeah, but anyway, my point was I just wanted to, I guess, say three like quick things. One is opulence really spoke to me, and I feel like I've never heard people echo that kind of thought process, and I thought that was really intriguing. And nobody really talks about opulence because of stupid Buck Angel shit. But yeah. Also, I met him in person. It's really weird. Anyway,
Really?
Yeah, he came to a health thing my boss put on. And showed porn without asking when children were in the audience. So it was super cool. So yeah, that's why he was nice.
He kind of does that. Yeah.
So my boss was like, he could have gotten us to fund it. It was very cool. Anyway, and I also wanted to say a quick, I guess, thanks for mentioning fat people in cringe, because I feel like nobody on the left really talks about it.
Just saying hi.
So I wanted to just say thanks.
Yeah, you're super welcome. I'm glad you like opulence because yeah, it does kind of hurt me that it does kind of hurt me that like this video that was like in some ways like the most difficult project I've ever worked on kind of like
It was
totally
stunning,
got lost.
So I don't
totally got lost to this like controversy about a voiceover actor, but I guess yeah, and about the talking about fat phobia, yeah, I agree that it's not discussed that well, but I think it's actually something that's particularly interesting to me because I find that I mean there's just a huge overlap. There's a huge overlap between fat phobia and transphobia. Like, and it's something that I really noticed when I was watching these cringe videos, is that just the kind of like disgust at a type of body, the disbelief that anyone wants to sleep with you,
Mhm.
the like all these tropes like that sort of echo uh between the ways that people talk about fat people and trans people.
Yeah, I've made that point
Really got
before,
me
but
thinking.
felt a little
Yeah.
bit minimizing towards like trans issues when saying it. But there is a lot of, I think, parallels. So
I
yeah,
absolutely think
so
there
yeah,
is.
I just had wanted to say thanks. I literally never see lefties talking about fat people other than to also make fun of them.
All right.
So
Yeah, it's a common thing. It's a common thing.
yes,
Um,
and I think Vosh telling me to leave. But my last point, what was it? Opulence. Oh, thank you for shame as well, because I feel like it actually helped me process a lot of things about my sexuality. So I just wanted to. A lot of your videos have meant a lot to me, and I hope you keep creating, even though you get so much undue harassment. So, yeah,
Thank you
even
so
if it's
much.
just streams, they're fun to watch. So,
Thank you so much.
but yeah. Anyway, hi,
It's really nice to
I'm
meet you.
Ray. Hi, Natalie. Yeah, and it's our cat Artemy, and he's a good boy. So yeah, thank you for coming on. Also,
You're
have
super
fun.
welcome.
Love you.
Oh,
Love you. I love you.
Here, take a
You're absolutely
baby.
killing it.
No.
You will.
Vosh, put your earphones in. Riley wants to say hi to you.
Oh, hi.
Oh
Ray.
yeah. Since we're doing the bit where we're bringing in other people who are in the other room.
Talk to the microphone.
Oh. Hey Bosh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Wonderful. Since we're doing the bit where we're calling in people who are like hiding in the other room. Hey, just figured I'd come in and say hi. You do pretty cool stuff, and yeah, I don't know. Just figured I'd come in and hey, congrats on getting to 100K. That's really awesome, dude.
Thanks. I
many
appreciate
subscribers.
I appreciate the endorsement, and yeah, I'm really happy with how things have gone so far. How's I asked Natalie, how's your day been?
My day's been going pretty good. We went for a run earlier, so that was really cool.
Went
Got my
outside?
blood drawn. Went to the bank, got my name legally changed on there, so that was pretty cool. And right
Oh.
now I'm I mentioned to a
Wait, that
couple
was
people I'm
that was
working-
today?
Yeah, that was today.
Oh,
that was today.
Congratulations. Oh, okay. Just
Thank you.
dropping that one.
Yeah,
like,
it was
you know,
just for my bank. I got it done a while ago, but I mean, like, it's just something I've had to take care of, and now actually I'm getting my first paycheck for. Oh, I'm working for the Maryland office of the Attorney General, specifically in the organized crime division, right? So talk about a time to be doing that, right?
Yeah,
Literally,
how's New York been treating you guys? Seattle has been great over the past few
God.
weeks.
So listen. Like, it's been really interesting because like my boss is specifically like she's one of the people specifically in charge of recommending policy for a lot of what the police will do in the city, right?
Mhm.
Like she's the one who does that. So I met with her the other day. I recommended her a lot of policy actually. It's really interesting because I got to sort of like resource from Twitter and talk to a lot of people like, hey, my boss is literally going to be recommending policy to like, oh, Brian Frosch, the Attorney General of Maryland, and like the Congress of Maryland. So I was able to like resource from, you know, a lot of people on Twitter, and it's actually really cool because I know that you talk on here a lot about doing a lot more grassroots and local politics, right?
Yeah,
And
that's always
this
been
is actually a really good example, sort of like that manifesting, right? Because I mean, like, obviously this isn't national politics. It's not something that like a lot of people necessarily think about on a day-to-day basis,
Mhm.
but it's still important, right? And I feel like Baltimore has definitely been doing about as well as it could be with everything that's unfolding nationally.
Yeah, I one of my biggest contentions with the left. I don't know. Wait, I don't actually know. Are the two of you socialists or just very progressive capitalists? I'm not insulting. We don't need to fight.
You can go ahead.
Are you asking me?
Oh, just either or both of you. I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Okay, fair answer. What about what about you?
If I
Riley?
had to, God, I just talked about this the other day. If I had to describe myself right now, I'd probably most accurately be described as like a democratic socialist, right? if I had to, I mean, like I make a distinction about this, right? If we're talking about what we would personally want for policy recommendations as of today, SOCDEM is probably the most appropriate recommendation because I'm very similar to Bernie in a lot of what he wants from people, or like a lot of what I want to see change in society, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking about things I would recommend for change in society in a future where we have a lot of very basic systematic problems already dealt with,
mm-hmm.
then yeah, I would probably be defined as more of like a socialist or a communist. But it's very relative, right? I'm ultimately a political pragmatist. I focus mostly on what can be done in the moment right now. And so in that sense, I'm probably I'm not quite a sexy communist or a sexy socialist or a sexy anarchist as much as you are. As much as you are.
It's not a competition. We're all pushing the glacier in the same direction. I'm very okay with unity in this respect.
Right.
I was just curious because my one of my main issues with the left, like I guess the hard left, but also SOCDEMs, I think, is that they get really excited for the presidency. They get out there hard, except for the young ones, they don't vote. But they get excited for the presidency. But the local elections, the everything from like city council to state legislators to governors to congress people to senators, the whole 9 yards, nobody does anything. They completely ignore it. They don't care. They just want the big win, you know? Local organizing, what you're doing right now, very important. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, hey, it was great talking to you. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I was just coming in since you had someone come in on your side. And yeah, hey, I'll let you all get back to what you're doing, all right?
You're not unfamiliar with live streaming, right? I know you've spoken with Xander Hall.
Yeah. I've talked to Xander Hall. I stream a little bit. You know, I don't know. I don't do anything nearly as big as what you two do, right? I'm just kind of doing my own thing in addition to like the work that I normally do, right? Like what I do for streaming is much more like a hobby. For y'all, it's like a career. Like clearly there's like, you know, giant differences in degree, right?
Sure,
but, yeah,
but
like,
if it's a format you're familiar with, happy to have you on sometime. You can talk about your experiences with regards to that local organizing. I can't make any promises for immediacy though, because these riots have kept my schedule pretty packed, but still I'd like to.
Yeah, no, that would be totally awesome, and I'd love to talk to you about that. All right.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Thank
hey,
you.
I'll let you get back to it. Hey, have fun, all right?
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey.
Hey,
I don't
Natalie.
really have any other debates to have, I don't think.
There's one more thing I wanted to ask you,
Okay.
and I don't, again, as always, if you don't want to talk about it, totally fine. In the shame video, you're gay, congrats. Have you had a large blowback from like the straight male audience? Because you anticipated it in the video.
Yeah, well, no, I haven't. I mean, I think that, like, it's kind of like general advice given to, you know, given to women creators that, well, I think given to all creators, that you're supposed to sort of like maintain the audience's delusion that they have a chance of fucking you. But I just don't care.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy to. Oh, do you mind if you turn down the speaker volume a little bit?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's just
Yeah.
I am.
I could use headphones, but I'm too much of a diva to
fair,
to
reasonable. Yeah, got to keep the bust clean.
the
Yeah,
aesthetic.
yeah.
Mhm.
No, I'm happy to hear that because obviously sex appeal has always been a pretty large part of your channel. I didn't know if there'd be like an actual severe backlash or if it. I imagine plenty of people were disappointed, but I think it's actually pretty fantastic because I had actually worried like, oh fuck, is this going to legitimately cause like a huge like not a rift, like a upset in the community?
No, it seems not to have.
Okay, I don't know. I mean,
So
I've just wild shit has happened online. You know?
Yes, heterosexual men have come out and proven themselves to be more impressive than rock bottom. So good work, guys.
You remember? Did you see the OK Boomer? The Twitter girl that she was like real cute and she did the OK Boomer and she had like a Bernie shirt. Yeah. And she instantly that video got viral. She got like 200,000 followers on Twitter and then she showed like a boyfriend on a stream. They realized she was taken. That Twitter account got fucking nuked. It got reported until it was banned from Twitter. They got real mad. Yeah.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah. But Clearly didn't happen.
But it didn't happen. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I was really curious about that. You're right. There is kind of a. It obviously happens more with women, but the sexual the imagined you could maybe one day hook up with me at a convention thing is I imagined something on the lines of many of the people who watch me as well, just judging for their degenerate behavior.
The thirst comments.
Yeah, day in and day out. So it is like a really, I guess, core part of the parasocial relationship, and yeah, it's just heartening. I'm happy to hear that. With the debate. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Loud dono. with the debate topics exhausted, do you want to declare yourself the winner and head on to do something else?
I think that seems fair to me. Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you. Like, I think like I should just I wish I could just check in with you after every video. I feel like you're a good host for me to complain about my audience. It's really great.
I mean, this is going to shock you with your massive audience and the well-known knowledge that I am a fan of yours. You can come on whenever you like, Natalie. I will never say no.
That's really great. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was awkward at first, but I am actually I got nervous to stream with people because I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know why I'm in this line of work.
Streaming is I don't blame you. I was nervous when you came on. Of course, I think that's a perfectly natural. I mean, I've talked with people like Sargon. Like the nervousness, I think it's natural, and I think good. It keeps us alive. Seriously, though, I really appreciate you coming on. I hope we can speak more in the future. I'll drop by your. I do watch your Pokemon streams. I don't watch the Sims streams, but I do watch the Pokemon streams. I'll pop in more. Thank you.
I'm sorry for you. All right. Well, talk soon.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Oh shit! It's the double debate again. Son of a bitch, we did it. We talked to Natalie. Under pretty good circumstances, too. 100,000 followers. Subs.